Since Crash Bandicoot is turning into cash-grabbing coots, let's go ahead and do a what if for this guy. What's up everybody, StevDeS here, and I think that microtransaction thing should have predicted this one. What do you do with the series like that? It's so simple. It's very platforming linear, and there's a lot of stuff that really is pretty set in stone. Well, there is one item that I thought would be kind of interesting. We all make fun of Cortex for being a babbling idiot and not deserving of that title, Dr. Cortex, but he's still a mad scientist and he had to have a few good inventions. Such is the case here with what if Crash Bandicoot turned evil. Whoa, 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 whoa. Cue the lightning. What do you mean we don't have lightning? That sucks. Regardless, this is going to be a timeline where Dr. Cortex's invention actually worked instead of, getting the Crash Bandicoot we all know and love. This timeline is entirely possible because he is Dr. Cortex, and outside of the lab and the minions and all of the villains that you make, the mutant plans still seem to work, just not as Cortex intended. Let's make it to whereas Cortex does get his way and gets his commander for his mutant army. We'll start out at the game that is ruined for everybody, Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled. Or rather, its PlayStation 1 counterpart, Crash Team Racing. Coco and Crash, because they're the heroes, have beaten nitrous oxide and saved the world in their racing karts. Nitrous oxide still could have just destroyed the planet. Still kind of a bad guy. Regardless, this is where things start to oddly change. As they're celebrating, Crash Bandicoot just starts to fade. Like, fade from timeline. And a new Bandicoot starts growing into reality. But how can that be? Something's wrong here, and Aku Aku fears that someone may be interfering with the timeline. Since the bad guys and the good guys were kind of on the same side for this, we do see the evil Crash Bandicoot in his commando jacket, and the world starting to change very oddly. Keep in mind, at this time, Coco hasn't gone back in time. Coco goes back in time. Thanks to the Insane trilogy for allowing us to play as Coco, we find out that Coco in fact uses the Time Twister from Crash Bandicoot Warped in order to go to the past and give her big brother a hand. Why would she need to do this? I mean, I don't see any reason other than, hey, Coco's a playable character. This is a legitimate reason why. It's the only thing I can say Activision did right. So, Aku Aku and Coco use the Time Twister in order to go back in time, but Aku Aku tells her that a future mask and a past mask cannot interact. Just another one of those mystical rules we're just gonna sprinkle on there. That is. So, with that in mind, we have to consider that past Aku Aku knows nothing about Crash. As a matter of fact, Crash doesn't end up on Insanity Beach, but Coco does. After meeting up with the mask, she explains to him what's going on in the present, aka their future. And sure enough, Aku Aku has no idea what a Crash Bandicoot is. Calm down, PlayStation weeaboos! This is a what if! It's not canon. Like Crash Nitro Fuel. With Coco and Aku Aku, they're able to just get through the levels fine. Keep in mind, this is future Coco, the one that uses the Time Twister to get to the past. She can still do everything Crash does. Along the way, they do end up coming across Tana. Well, why would they come across Tana? Tana's still a prisoner, isn't she? Because he got his Cortex commando in the form of Crash Bandicoot, he has no need for another Bandicoot. So, she was effectively tossed out. Being thrown to the waves and landing on Insanity Island, Tana is, well, she's distraught, but she's more angry at Dr. Cortex. Crash was her boyfriend. I just realized the more of these video game what ifs that I do, a lot more female characters become like pretty far forward. Crash is evil. So Tana wants to save the good in her boyfriend. Meeting up with Coco and Aku Aku at the end of the Insanity Beach level she's able to tell them about what happened and how Dr. Cortex's machine worked. This is an outcome that Coco did not like. That's why that evil Crash was there on the CTR circuit. So then, we need to figure out how to make Crash good again. That is our hero's mission. Like I said, everything that Crash can do, Coco can do. So Coco is just standing in for Crash for the first game. Up until they get to the foot of the castle, where an evil Crash Bandicoot is waiting to defend the fortress. I accidentally said castle. It's supposed to be fortress. Sadly though, this Bandicoot is far stronger than Coco and Tana can do anything against. It's gonna be a usual boss battle, but the cutscene that plays afterwards would have Coco trying to work something out with Tana, because clearly Crash ain't going down. This is where Aku Aku suggests that if he really does have good in him, maybe he can do something. Tana is able to distract Crash Bandicoot, allowing Coco to jump and put the mask on evil Crash. This is where things get a little screwy. Aku Aku is able to buy them enough time, but he states that the Crash that Coco claims to know is non-existent right now. There is some good in him, but it's overwhelmed by all this evil. He can't hold it for long, so the two better run in while they can. Tana gets captured, and Coco has to save the day. End of Crash 1. What, you expected me to be a little bit more creative as far as that's concerned? No, Tana has shown nothing other than racing right now. It's really nothing. It's pretty straightforward. However, Coco does decide to plug her laptop into Cortex's computers to find out why the machine worked as opposed to it not working. And that's when she finds some security footage of two Cortexes. Someone was busy in the middle of the Grand Prix. Naturally, Coco has this knowledge and has to return to the future. Tana says she'll try to work on things from her angle, and with Aku Aku's help, things might be able to get fixed. Enter Crash Bandicoot 2, The Revenge of Cortex. Or the, Cortex's Revenge... Cortex Strikes Back? Yeah, okay. The direct sequel. And the sequel we all deserved. Here, Coco realizes the future is a little better. It's not where, you know, things are as destroyed as before, but her brother is still evil. So she's got to go back in the time twister again. She finds herself on the beach, you know, waiting for the battery, and asks her, where did Tana go? Tana is now the main character. She is the one that has to try to save the day against Cortex. Little Coco tells her that her big sister went into the jungle to find some batteries, which doesn't make any sense when the town is just down the beach. Coco starts to think about this and asks where Aku Aku is. Aku Aku states that he's been trying to keep tabs on Tana, but he has no idea where Tana could be. That's where the future Coco points to the sky and says she's up there. Cortex probably took her. Coco gets zapped on the ship just as Tana retrieves the first of the crystals and the gem. You know, who doesn't get the gem in the first level? Here, Tana and Coco have a bit of dialogue, and past Coco is working to reveal Cortex for the sham he is. Tana is actually believing it. She has no reason to deny him other than the fact he is evil. So, Cortex is believed by Tana here. The game would go on normally, but with Coco being able to swap out with Tana for some of the other levels or whatever have you, I haven't played the entire game yet. We do get past Coco being able to hack into the frequency and Coco saying I told you so to Tana. However, the boss order is something I would change. What boss gets put on the back burner? Ripperoo. Ripperoo had a good ending. He became a professor, even though he's still crazy, and yeah, he just didn't need to be reused. Here, we get Tiny Tiger and Jin. I think Dingo Dial makes an appearance. And then Crash at the 20 crystal boss part. No, that's all I had to say, move on. After 20 crystals, they do see Crash, and it becomes more of a traditional boss fight where instead, they have to mask Crash 3 times in order to win. The way to do that is outspin him. Get him when he's dizzy, hit him, or jump on him when he's spinning, and then hit him. You know, it's more of a traditional boss. This time, however, the good in Crash starts to show a little bit, and he doesn't want to hurt them. He tries his best, but at the end of the day, he's still evil. Aku Aku was not able to do anything for Crash. However, after beating Crash, they do end up beating the game, and that goes on normally. Tana says that she'll keep working on it, but she can't really do a whole lot on her angle. This is where Coco suggests that there may be another person out there. Someone who knows the ins and outs of the Cortex Vortex and what's going on there. So, they search the base as soon as they can get to it. In the base, they see a muscular Bandicoot with metal arms and are pondering what to do with him. Clearly this is an experiment of Cortex's, but on the other hand, this could be a very dangerous Bandicoot, much like Crash is. Do you think Crunch should be part of the group? You tell me by voting in that poll above. Either way, I hope you enjoyed this video. For more what-ifs in the realm of video gaming and Dragon Ball alike, such as if maybe Manco and Overwatch could get along for once, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and as always, I'll see you in the next one. Ciao. No woes in this time period.